Hello everyone, and thanks for joining this free training Thursday. Today we will learn how to run reports in Abacus Accounting. My name is Anna and I have here with me Perry Lafferty. This will be about a 30-minute free training and we will answer your questions in the last 10 minutes, so please feel free to input your questions in the GoToWebinar control panel at any time. With that, I'll let Perry take over. Hi Perry.
Well, thank you, Anna, and welcome everyone for coming to our free training Thursday here in January of 2018. And as Anna mentioned, today we're just going to touch on the topic of running reports in Abacus Billing and Accounting. I have my Abacus Accounting screen open here in front of us, and we'll touch base on this time of year. We tend to start focusing in on getting reports out for the former year. So it's a good time to get in here and try things out. And the good news about what we're looking at today is you can do no harm. There's nothing you can do wrong here. It's really a good thing after you've done all the work for the last year to print out and see what comes all together in here. I'm going to first touch base on how we can set up what are called report groups. So in other words, you can put together, after you've had a chance to look through your reports, which ones you know your firm will appreciate, which ones you want to refer back to, and things like that. And so we set them up so then at any time during the year, you can simply click on a button and it will pull together all the reports that you like. With that being said, I'll show you where to do that. We're going to come over here under the Reports drop-down menu. Once again, I'm in my Abacus Accounting program, and we all know it covers billing and accounting. So I'm going to come down to where it says Report Groups. All right. Now, when you open this up, you may already see some reports in here. I believe Abacus sends this out with these reports already set up, but of course, everybody likes to have their own personal touch on what reports they like. So I'm going to basically pretend like we're starting from scratch. So to set up a group, what you're going to want to do is come over first to the left-hand corner and click on Add to set up the name of the group you'd like to assign reports to. So I'm just going to make this short and sweet and make it or call it Perry's Reports. And we're done with that. Okay. Now I want to highlight that group. And now you can see listed below here where it says Reports Included, I have not entered any reports into my group. So now the second step would be to come over to the folders where the reports actually are for Abacus Billing and Accounting and click on the particular folder that you'd like to pull a report from. So we'll start with Accounts Payable here, open that up, and then go through and choose the report that you would like to include in your group. So that's nice and simple. And now we're going to come down to this Include button because what we're doing is looking at the parameters, the choices that we have about this particular report. So after we've highlighted it, we click Include, and we get the options that we have here. Now, we never have to worry about the dates because we're going to run the reports with the dates we want when we want to. So the dates aren't anything we need to talk about here. But basically, you have different options that you can include in your version of the report. You also could choose to have this report twice or any report twice, choosing different criteria as to what to include. So I'm going to go with everything opted here. You know, I want everything I can get, right, for which account. So you just go through and look at the details. Would you like it sorted? Would you like a chart included? And after you make your choices here, you simply hit Save. Okay, so that took my cash requirement report and popped it over here. So now I know in my reports, I have the AP cash requirements. Now I can continue choosing from within the folder, or when I'm ready, I can go into another folder and choose another report, click on Include, and then look at the criteria for this particular report. So it's very simple. You just go through and identify, how you would like to see the report, hit Save, and it pops it in there. Then when we're good and ready, okay, I'm making a short instance here because I want to get into the actual different reports in the program a little bit, not too detailed, but a little bit. But let's say now we're actually ready to run our reports. Well, let's start this again. How do you get to them? reports, report groups, choose the report group you want, and now we come down here. So on the day that you're ready to actually print these reports, you want to come in here and select your dates. We have a couple different ways of doing that. You could use this option here with your speed bar dates, meaning do you want to do it for this week, this month, last week, last month? So you make your choice that way. If that doesn't work for you, then you could just come down here and choose your start date and your end date. Okay, so you have those options. It could be any particular date to any particular date. And then you're going to come here and decide where the destination's going to be. Preview's okay. You know, it will bring the reports up to your screen, and you could print. Well, no, I'm not even going to suggest that. If you want to print, you should print. Okay, preview's nice because it brings it up and you can look at it, but they go by kind of quickly because it's trying to give you all your reports there on your screen. So I like print, and it just sends it to whatever printer you choose. Or my favorite is email, because you could email these reports so that on the weekend you want to sit at home and go through them, or something like that, or email them to your boss so they have them to look through. So that option's available as well. So now let's get into a couple of different reports here. This time of year, like I say, it's kind of fun to gather all the information you may have had from last year in here. And I know that I deal with the accounting side of the program a lot, but so this time of year, accounting is, oh, wow, yes, we need our reports. We've got to give them to the accountant. But I also want to show you the matter side, the billing side, the trust side, so you know you can get those reports out, and they really don't have a time stop on them. In other words, you don't have to print them today. You can print them at any time, incorporating any date. The accounting reports, some of them are kind of like a stamp in time. Here's my AR, accounts receivable listing. Here's my accounts payable listing. So those are basically going to the accounting ones we really want to focus on now. Billing ones you can, trust ones you can print anytime without any time constraints, because you may not, you never close a year in billing. You never close a year in trust. All right, so here we go. Under matters, now what you have here is under matters, we come down and we have our matter reports. Every drop-down menu has matter reports, okay? Then, so under matters, your matter reports. Billing has billing reports. Trust has trust reports. Now, they are mentioned here under the reports menu again. All right, so it kind of makes it simple just to stay in one place. But I'd like you to know, well, why is it listed in two places? Well, they're basically the same reports. You can just get to them two different ways. If you've been using the program for a while, there's a lot of times you could do things two different ways. So let's just play with this one because we never really get to play with this over here. Matter reports. A few of these that people probably would like to see every now and again is under accounts receivable. Like here are the receivable reports, accounts receivable. A couple different versions, so don't be shy on printing out the different versions. Okay. This advanced cost detail report lists every matter by matter with their particular costs involved. So that's a good one. Now here again, I'm kind of picking out my favorites, but there's no harm in trying all of the different ones listed here. A big one this time of the year is going to be your write-off report, because you're going to want to show your accountant, if you've done write-offs, what matters you've had to write off time for, fees, cost, and they will be able to use those for tax returns. So this is the perfect time of year to come in here and print out your write-off report. So, of course, you just go through on the screen, just like we saw when we were selecting them for a report group. And preview is always nice here just to check them out to see what you actually have before you actually put them in your report group. So that's the one that people kind of forget about every now and again, but this time of year is a great time because you want to see what happened last year. Under billing, we actually have a couple different sets. Here are the AR reports again. Like I say, they could have put them in more than one place in here, but they're the same reports that we saw under matters, a couple different ways of looking at them, aged versus regular, that kind of thing. And this one also has a big one called the productivity reports. Now, this is where you can get a good glimpse as to who did what work, okay? You can look at it a couple different ways. You can look at it from hours versus fees, okay, fees that have been paid. Some of these reports do them by month, so you choose the actual month you want to see. Others, let's see, where's the one I really like? Let's see here. Here we go. Up, down one more, I think. There it is. By matter, this is billed and unbilled hours, and you can choose it by date range instead of by month. So check through them. Try them out. You can always preview them onto your screen. If you didn't like them, if it's not giving you what you need, no harm, nothing wasted, okay? So and then pay attention to the little details as to what you're actually putting on your report. All right, and here we have a report that not a lot of people know about. If you run flat fees, or if you bill by flat fee methods, there is a matter profit and loss report that's strictly for flat fee cases. So you can see if you're making money on your flat fee cases. So that's a good one to run about now. If you have different locations, there are reports for that as well. In productivity, you have, this is a big one, the timekeeper cash receipt. Everybody seems to really like this one because this is showing by timekeeper who worked on the matters, on the different invoices, how much money was brought in. So this one you may actually want to run by timekeeper, several single reports, so you can give them to each individual timekeeper instead of having them all grouped together, if you would like that. So there's a reason you could have 2 or 3 of these same reports set up in your report group. Okay, so come in and play. Your WIP reports, work in process, that's a good one. I like those on a monthly basis. When I'm done with my billing, I'd like to see, why do I still have people in my system that I haven't billed? It will bring up to attention anybody that I may have missed for whatever reason. So between your accounts receivable and your work in process reports, that should cover your entire client database as to who owes you money or who needs to be billed for what they do owe. Okay? All right, so productivity is a big one. Next, we're going to move over to billing. Again, and go to the very bottom. And now this time, this report that is listed at the top, the billing report, that's actually showing you who you billed each month. Okay, so this is another one that you may want to run monthly, but of course at the end of the year, it's nice to gather all this information together and keep digital copies of these reports. You can always, you send them via email. When you go to print, if you want to, or when you go to preview, if you want to print to a file, you can, so you can save them digitally, so you always have a copy from year to year without having to come back. If you happen to be using the Abacus APX, our credit card clearinghouse, if you will, we've got the credit card statements here along with the credit card activity reports. Those will be good for you. Those, again, should be run, I would think, on a monthly basis, so you keep up with what's being charged out to clients. Okay? So, like I say, after you learn all the parts of Abacus and you're actually making it work and you're getting your work done every week and every month, this is kind of like the reward we get at the end. This is my happy spot of Abacus. Trust reports, we know how important, if you hold money in trust, these are. So once again, we come in here, and my 2 favorites are the trust detail report and the trust summary reports. Okay, details obviously go into every detail for each matter between the start and the end date that you choose. If you have multiple trust accounts, you're going to want to run these one at a time. But if you only have one trust account, you can leave it defaulted to all. Okay, you have options down here on what you want to include in there. And hopefully, those of you that are using the trust section with the bank reconciliation of the account every month, this is a report you want to tuck away when you do your bank rec. So if the auditor ever comes a knocking, you can prove to them that you balanced your account because you've got the bank rec itself. You've got the trust report showing every single matter with every single activity within that time frame that balances to the checkbook. So that right there is an open and shut case. You know what you're doing. You can prove it right there, and life goes on happily. Okay, so trust detail report, trust summary report. Those are my favorite trusts. All right, now we get more into the accounting side, of course. We have accounts payable. And if you're using the two-step process, the actual bookkeeping tool in here to write your checks, then your accounts payable reports are very nice to have because you can get things like cash requirements. How much money do we need this week to pay our bills to stay on point? Okay. If you're looking to see, has the client paid you for those costs that you have advanced for them? In other words, you're putting in that you're going to pay the bills. They need to reimburse you for those bills. This report here will actually show you. Let me go back a little bit with my start date. Okay, and up. Okay, up. It's not that report. What am I clicking on? It is, oh, it should be this one right here. Okay, well, let's see what we have here. Okay, this report will show you if the client has actually paid you for the cost that you have input that needs to be paid. So you can kind of keep up with, hey, have they paid us yet? Because the costs go onto their bills, and hopefully they're now paying the firm. So the firm has the money to actually pay the costs with. So that report's kind of clever in that can help you there. Next, of course, the big one for accounting is the GL reports. Okay, and these are accounting reports. Our accounting reports are accounting reports. Everybody that has to deal with accounting knows about a balance sheet. So, of course, we have that in here. An income statement. We have a few different versions of an income statement. You can pick and choose. Here's 4 different ones here. So once again, you can set up reports in your reports group, that actually are saying, okay, we're going to print the month only, then I'm going to print the month and a year to date. So within your criteria that you're choosing as you're setting up your reports. Now, if I had to pick 5 GL reports, because obviously I deal with that every day, I would pick my balance sheet. I would pick 2 here that incorporate everything. The general journal listing, which is every single journal entry for the date range that you choose. So you can always make sure everything's in balance. I would choose my general ledger detail, which is every entry in each account chronologically by account. My income statement, of course, as I've already mentioned. And of course, the accountant's favorite, the trial balance. These others are nice. I'm not trying to say don't, but I'm just picking out my favorite 5. Okay? So, back to reports, report groups. Of course, you could pick your reports from this menu. We've got a couple extra here. This, time of year, 1099s are to be processed. So we've got an option here to get to the 1099s. But the rest of these pretty much are what we saw. Yes, there's an audit trail in here. I really don't see any need to print out your audit trail. It's kind of intense, right? Everybody and everything they did. But obviously the rest of the reports are here. The setup reports, we really didn't talk about those. Those are really just anything that you've set up in the system as far as your different code sets, your timekeepers, your case codes, your chart of accounts, those kinds of things. And usually that's just amongst the setup of the program. But you can print them out, include them in your report group if you would like, setting up your report groups, coming in, choosing the different reports you would like on there, hitting include. This one we really don't need to include anything, any extras. Popping them in here, and then coming in actually printing them or emailing them when it's time. Okay. All right, Anna, I think that's everything I have to say. If we have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But my big point here is to get in and try them out and just see what we can do with you. If you all have any suggestions for reports, because we really get our suggestions from our users, please feel free to email us with suggestions for new reports, different criteria to put on reports, because we just always want to keep making this program better and better. So we get those ideas from y'all. So don't be shy about that.
Thank you, Perry. Yeah, if you have any suggestions, feel free to send them to webinars@abacusnext.com. And we'll just give our attendees a few seconds or minutes here to input any questions they might have.
Now, I know today it may have mentioned AbacusLaw reports. Of course, there's the other side of Abacus, as you all well know, the AbacusLaw side. And we will hopefully in the near future have another webinar on how to generate reports in AbacusLaw. Because I think you all may be aware that in law, you really could build your own reports and identify what fields you want included on those reports. It's really a wide open range as to what you can do. So we're going to have another little webinar to be able to discuss those.
All right, Perry, looks like we don't have any questions today. Thank you so much for hosting today's webinar, and thanks again everyone for joining. A recording of today's webinar will be made available to you shortly, so be on the lookout. And don't forget to sign up for next week's free training Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you all. Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.